This is a DVD rewriter, and it's gone faulty. I don't think the discs spin up fast enough, and it does read a bit, but then it stops and starts. It's faulty. I've replaced it in my computer, and another piece of electronic junk as far as I'm concerned. I don't think I've got a hope in hell's chance of fixing it, but I'm going to have a look inside. I've made up a special tool to open the cabinet, which is just a needle with stuck in a bit of wood and a blunt end to push through a little hole to get the cabinet open. As with all these things that never work, there you go. Perhaps I didn't do it hard enough. Now I'm going to try and get the front cover off. Seems to be in business. I really don't know why I'm bothering doing this, because thousands have been there before me on YouTube. I can't imagine it being of any interest to anybody. Just undo this, all the screws I can see. One thing I will not do is put any power on this with the covers off, because of the laser that's in there. I don't want to damage my eyesight at all, or any more than it's been damaged already. That should lift off. And it's odd. Just at a glance, round here looks like it's been, that chip looks like it's been soldered in manually, and there's sort of a dullish sheen around there, as if it's been reworked with flux. Hasn't been cleaned off properly. That doesn't bode too well for this unit. If it was a new unit when I bought it, it's had extremely little use. So this must have been reworked before it came out of the factory. Or perhaps the people I bought it off of, it was a new item. I'm a bit puzzled. Not looking good. Alright, let's take the lid off on the other side. Should just come off. Let's lift off. And have a close look at the lens and see whether there's any muck on it. No, nothing on that. Didn't think there would be. Right. Let's strip it down, just for a bit of fun. put it over to one side. I'll pause it there. Well, I can't see if this is in focus, but this component here on the board looks like it's undergone some form of reworking on the soldering. It's just not aligned properly. It doesn't look like all the other components on the board. So I presume that when this was manufactured that they had a problem with it and it required a degree of reworking, or that component was soldered in later by hand. When I see things like this on an item which is mass produced, you know, I feel that there was something matter with it when it was produced and went through its initial testing stage, and it's a fault that's reappeared again. And frankly, I just don't feel, seeing that, I don't feel like even looking at this any further. I replaced the drive in the machine for I think about £14 or £15, and it works fine now. So, is it worthwhile? Is it worthwhile trying to fix one of these? No. It's the first time I've ever taken one apart, and I'll have a further look at it. But not really worthwhile looking at, is it? It's not for that sort of money. So. Right, here's a close-up of the chip that seems to have been resoldered in. I'm going to shine the torch on it from different angles and see whether we can get a number off of it. I've cleaned the surface up of the flux in a hope that we can see a little bit more clearly what it says. I don't know whether any of this will help, of course. If it's an EEPROM, and if this unit doesn't work after I've fiddled about with it, or I've not repaired it, I'll take that EEPROM out and see what's on it, just out of interest, of course. I'm going to go back and have a look at the other part of the unit with the laser on. I feel that the problem may be mechanical, but it's just a gut feeling. There's something really wrong with this. I eventually found a problem. It's this little fragment I found snagged around the spiral. And I've pulled it away, and the mechanism now runs more freely on the runners. I can't really pull it up and down, but to show you at this stage. But I'm going to take this off and check to see whether there's any more debris or anything along there that's stopping it from matching properly, or even why this little strand appeared. Well, I've had a closer look at the board, and horror among horrors. It looks like somebody's been splashing solder all around here. It's over the, it's certainly over the track there, and at various other places. And I'm not so sure whether this point here, well, whether that point there is being bridged. But I wouldn't hold to that because it did work. But this is terrible. This is absolutely awful. Just looks like somebody flicked their soldering iron over it. Even up here, know if we can actually see it with the camera. But just in this part of the board, just about there, there's a big blob of solder and stuff and spatter again round there. This board's definitely been reworked, and I think it's awful. I don't think there's any chance of actually effecting a repair on here, and what's causing the problems I would say was related to this sort of damage. I've checked everything else, and other than the bit of dross that I found in the mechanism, I can't see anything else wrong, and I suspect the problem lies with this solder splashing. But why the unit ever worked in the first instance, I don't know, and why it's breaking down to stop working, I have no idea. It's a piece of junk. I've replaced it. Even if I repaired it, I wouldn't trust it. But there are a couple of little... I'm going to find out. I'm definitely going to find out what this is. And there are a few other components on the board that may be worth recovering, like little voltage regulators that I've got practical use for sometime in the future. It's sad, but that's one of those things. It's not a known brand that I know of, the unit, so perhaps there's a moral there. Buy a branded item as opposed to something that you've never heard of. But that's here where we're going to end it. Or do you want me to put it back together again? I will put it back together again off camera though.